Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Golden Boys Nominating Contract pack that's just come out on eFootball. I'm also going to look at the two new Match Pass players. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if you want to hear about particular players, click in the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to him. So, let's have a look at who we've got. We'll start with Aimar Oroz. Already said that wrong. We've got a whole player, popular playing style, only one position he can play, attacking midfield. So, as you can see, he's pretty good. Technically, see, he's really good on the ball. He's got pretty good passing. Offensive awareness is pretty decent, which goes well with the fact he's a whole player. So his movement should be pretty good in the final third. On the right, you see, athletically, he's got good acceleration, but the pace isn't brilliant. And down here, balance and stamina not ideal as well. So he's not perfect. I think a lot of people will look at the pace there and not be too keen on that. Although it's not the most important thing in the world when you're playing in that attacking midfield area. Personally, if you wanted to, you could take a few away from maybe his dribbling, maybe take some shooting away. If you do that, put that. Oh, he's got one on defending there as well, so that frees up a bunch of points. You can get his speed up to the 80 mark, and we've got 3 left. Maybe we put that balance. There you go. So now you get balance up to 80 as well as speed. So you could do that. Personally, I think that's the way I'd probably train him. So not as good on the ball, but still good. But then you get that speed up to the 80 mark, the balance up to the 80 mark, which is nice. Looking down at his skills, he's a bit lacking. He's got soul control, long range driving, pinpoint crossing for his end product, but that's about it. Penalty specialist, not a big deal. So he is lacking. It'd be nice if he had 1-touch pass, 2 passing, maybe long range shooting or first time shot. So skill wise, a bit lacking, but outside of that, he's pretty good. I think the skills for me personally, that puts me off him. You know, there are some other 5-star players in this pack. They're all 5 stars, in fact. We've got 8 of them in the pack. So depending how many contracts you've got, you might want to pick him up and put some skills on him. If you don't want to put the skills on him, then it might be better to use your 5-star contracts elsewhere. But we'll see who else you've got. But like I say, apart from the lack of skills, as you can see from all his attributes here, it's a pretty good card, to be fair. So next up, another attacking midfielder. Again, it's the only position this guy can play. This time it's a creative playmaker. Baldanzi from Empoli. So first thing you'll notice, great dribbling and ball control. This guy's fantastic on the ball. But again, you know, he's not great in every area. The offensive awareness isn't brilliant. Speed just shy of the 80 mark. Got great balance. We'll go down to his skills. So a bunch of dribbly stuff. You like his skill moves, then you'll like some of these skills. He has through passing, so he's got arguably the most important skill for an attacking midfielder. Long range drive as well, which is good. Doesn't have 1-touch pass, which is a bit of a shame. So again, we're lacking a bit with the skills. But I do think skill-wise, we're a bit better here than we were with our first player. Heel trick's a nice one. In terms of the way he's been trained, again, there's one on defending there. I would be tempted to just take a few away from shooting again. See if we can get that speed up. So that means we can get the speed up by 1. Can we get that offensive awareness up? We can get 1 on it there. You could maybe take a few away from dribbling and do that. Depends. I mean, you can build him however you want. Like every time I train a player, obviously it's just my opinions. It's based on how I play the game, how I like my players to be trained. It's all up to you what suits you. But personally, getting his offensive awareness up to 80, his speed up to 80. You're now in the 90s in balance and acceleration. I think that's a really nice build. I think he could be a pretty neat player. Worth bearing in mind, he's 170 centimeters, so he's quite a short player with very good dribbling and balance and pretty good pace as well, especially acceleration. That you might really notice that low center of gravity. He could be a player who really feels nice on the ball. You do tend to find that with shorter players who've got good pace and good dribbling and balance. So he could be a really nice player, actually. Personally, out of the first 2 players we've looked at, the whole player playing style is a big advantage. But this guy, even though he's a creative playmaker, which means he won't be as aggressive with his kind of runs forward, I think with his physique coupled with the way his attributes are weighted, I would be more inclined to pick this guy up, Baldanzi. I think he looks like a really neat player. He could feel very nice on the ball. And like I say, 1 or 2 skills lacking, but he does have through passing. So yeah, this could be a really neat player to pick up. And the first 2 attacking midfielders we just looked at here, both pretty good in slightly different ways, but I like this guy. And then next up, we have Cho from Sociedad. So yeah, we've got a goal poacher. He can play wide right as well, but his passing's terrible. He's right-footed. Oh, he's left-footed, sorry. So yeah, maybe he could play as a wide right forward. Looking down at the skills, okay, does he have long range drive? No. He also doesn't have first time shot. So that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, interesting. He's got some skill moves. If you like your dribbling and his skill moves, there's some stuff there. He's got dipping shot, acrobatic finishing. But first time shot is a big miss for a striker. And if you've not got first time shot and you've not got long range drive, I think wide right's a bit of a stretch as well. But he does have fantastic pace, good balance. Dribbling's decent. The awareness and finishing are decent as well. Not outstanding. Like I say, the passing is not great. So can we do much with the way he's trained? I mean, they've got 4 on aerial. I'm not sure that's going to do much. He's not got any real ability in the air. He's not got aerial superiority or heading skills. If we take all those away, that's 4 points. What else could we sneak a few points from dexterity? Then we can at least get his ball control to 80. Maybe put 4 on his passing. Not a great deal you can do, really, to be honest. I'll probably just do that. Put 1 more back on his lower body for more speed. Yeah, so yeah, he's not bad. He's what is he, about 5'11", fairly average build, good pace. Technicals are decent. Awareness and finishing decent. On the whole, he's a decent pacey striker, but again, like with the first player in this pack, the skills are important. You know, missing first time shot, you're going to notice that. You're going to get instances when the ball comes to him in the box, you try and get a shot away quickly, and he just won't get the shot away, and it can be so frustrating when that happens. So if you really like this guy, if you're a Sociedad fan, for example, you're probably going to want to pick him up, but you might want to put first time shot on him if you do get him. Beyond that, like I say, it's a decent striker. You know, if you like pacey goal poachers, could be a pretty decent one to pick up, but it's not one I'm personally too excited about, to be honest. Then we have Antonio Silva from Benfica. So pretty solid looking centre back. The first thing I've noticed about this guy, jumping at only 79, he's 6'1", so he's a reasonable height for a centre back, but with jump only 79, no aerial superiority. So he might come up a little bit short when it comes to aerial duels. So if your opponent's playing a lot of long balls or putting a lot of crosses in, this guy might not be the strongest. He's a bit lacking in general skills, although he's got some of the most important ones. You know, man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle. What he's really lacking is the aerial ones, really. That's pretty much all he's lacking. It'd be nice if he had acrobatic clearance as well, to be honest. But certainly, I think man marking, interception, blocker are the 3 most important ones for a defender. So he's got some core skills there, some of the most important ones, but he's lacking a few. Like I say, it's mainly the aerial situation where there's a problem. But down the middle there, you see defensive engagement's great at 90. The rest are decent enough. Pretty good. Pace for a centre-back is pretty decent. Physical contact's good. He's strong. He'll be strong in the challenge. Stamina's pretty good for a centre-back as well. So certainly a guy who's got qualities. I think the aerial thing is the only real concern. It's not a massive concern because he's not short, but jumping's not great. Doesn't have aerial superiority. So if you really want this guy, if you're a Benfica fan, for example, like with Cho, you'd probably want to look to get that aerial superiority on him. Likewise, if you pick him up for any other reason, that's the one area you'd want to look to really kind of finish him off and make him into a good centre-back. But outside of that, he's already pretty decent. Not elite level, but just a solid centre-back, really. And then we have Gravenberch from Liverpool, box-to-box centre-mid. So, yeah, as you can see, the first thing you notice, that's where his strength is. The technicals, very good on the ball, very good passing. Defensively, he's okay. Got pretty good pace for centre-mid. Stamina's okay, but not brilliant. I'll keep an eye on that stamina. I fear he might get a bit tired by about the 60-ish minute mark. Physical strength and balance are a little bit low. I would expect them to be a bit higher on Gravenberch, to be honest. I think he's a little bit lacking there. I think offensive awareness probably is the biggest concern for me. As a box-to-box, he's going to be getting up and down the pitch, but is he going to be making good runs? Is he going to be getting into good positions in the opposition half? That attacking awareness is a bit of a concern for me. If you look down at the skills, a couple of skill moves there. Long range shooting and first time shot is good. So, you know, finishing only 66 isn't brilliant, but he might be able to pop up with a goal or two for you. One touch pass, low lofted pass, that's good. No through pass though, is a bit of a shame. Interception, probably one of the most important skills for a box-to-box centre mid. Would be nice if he had others like maybe his man marking, track back, but not the end of the world for box-to-box. I think certainly looking at his attributes, he's more of an offensive box-to-box than a defensive one. Aerial superiority, that goes well with the fact that he's 6'3", although his jumping's not brilliant, so he'll be okay in the air, but not brilliant. Looking at the way he's trained, in terms of what I might change personally, I think I'm looking at that attacking awareness, that concerns me. So personally, you could maybe sneak a few from passing, sneak a bunch off dribbling. I don't think that's too important for the type of player he is. So then 2 on there, that gets his awareness up to 70 at least. You could put a bit more on defensive actually, get his tackling and aggression up to 80. That's nice for a box to box. Stick a couple more on dexterity actually. Then we've got left 3 left. Where's that going? Lower body. Give him a bit more stamina. I'd probably train him like that. Still pretty good passing, still pretty good on the ball, but a bit more offensive awareness when he's getting into the opposition half. A bit stronger defensively and a bit more stamina as well. I think ultimately it's a pretty straightforward box to box centre mid. There's no major glaring weaknesses and there's nothing he's particularly outstanding at. Certainly you can train him, you can tweak the way he's trained. This is just how I personally do it, but he's a pretty strong, solid box to box centre mid, to be honest. He's not an elite level one. He's not quite on the level of the kind of the Barellas of this world, the real, the most popular guys, but certainly he's not far off. I think it's a pretty good solid card, this. And then we have Anthony Gordon. I'll try not to be biased as a Newcastle fan. I think this is a pretty good card, but as we find with a lot of the kind of wingers, the wide forwards, these types of player that they give us, we got a lot of dribbling and pace, but it's the end product that's the concern with Gordon. But we can do something about that. So it depends. Again, like with all these players, I'm just giving you my opinions. Some people aren't too bothered about the end product. I've got a lot of friends who are very good at the game who don't put much on the finishing and passing on their forward players, and they get by just fine. So that's fine if that's the way you play. You might just leave it the way he's auto-allocated. For me personally, I would take a bit off his dribbling, take a bunch off there, stick that on passing straight away. And I'm thinking, okay, lofted pass and finishing both 1 shy of the 80 mark. I'm sure I can get them there. Should we nick a bit of speed or dexterity? Take a couple of dexterity, passing up to 80, finishing up to 80, and I've got 2 points left. Stick that shooting as well. There we go. So still got great pace, good balance, pretty decent stamina, still good on the ball, but now 80 lofted pass, 81 finishing. The offensive awareness is a bit low. That's frustrating. I think you probably will notice that. It could be better. If you look down at the skills though, you see he's got soul control, but then in terms of end product, long range drive and long range shooting, dipping shots nice. Then you've got 1-touch pass, through passing and pinpoint crossing. So not brilliant in terms of his attributes for end product, but we've got them up a little bit higher. And with those skills that he's got there with the shooting and passing and crossing, that helps a lot. So yeah, I think ultimately, whether you're playing him on the right and putting crosses in, playing him on the left, cutting inside, getting shots away, I certainly wouldn't play him as an attacking midfielder because I don't think his low pass is anywhere near high enough, even with 1-touch pass and through passing. I think he's definitely wide left or wide right, but with the pace, pretty good on the ball. As you saw initially, if you go with the auto allocation, he's got fantastic dribbling at 90. Even with me retraining him a bit here, still good on the ball. And again, I've got his end product a bit better there, and he's got skills to back that up. So I think he could be a pretty useful left winger or right winger, to be honest. I think that's a pretty good card on the whole. And then we have Kulusevski. Now, this one's interesting to me because we had an English Premier League pack maybe 6 to 9 months ago, roughly. And I was spinning that to get Bruno Guimaraes for my Newcastle squad. I had no interest in getting Kulusevski, but I got him after the first 1 or 2 spins. And I noticed he was the highest rated Kulusevski that had been so far. So I thought, well, I'll give him a try, see if he's any good. Honestly, he's become one of my favourite attacking players to use in the game. I absolutely love him. He just feels really good. And especially for a player who's about 6'1", players of that kind of height and build, they don't often feel good on the ball. But this guy, for me, for whatever reason, whether it's just me, I don't know, but I love him. I just think he's great. And I've compared this guy, the way is with his training, the allocation of points with my one is pretty much identical. So for me, I'm going to pick this guy up 100% just as a contract renewal because mine's only got a few months left on his contract. So as you can see, brilliant on the ball. End product, like with Gordon just now, he's a bit lacking with the end product. And then down the right hand side, he's got pretty good pace. What I'll do though, again, it comes down to you. You might think that auto allocation is great. If you do, that's up to you. You play the game the way you want, the way you play the game. But for me personally, I think I can get his end product a bit higher. As I say, I've already played with this because I've got Kulusevski already and I've compared him to mine. I want that offensive awareness a bit higher as well. So I'm going to start with that, get up to the 80 mark. Now we're looking at end product. Take a bit off his shooting. Is more about passing, really. There we go. Get it past the 80 mark with 2 points left. Probably just stick that on shooting. That'll do it. So yeah, That to me is much nicer. He's still got 90 on his dribbling, still got 90 acceleration. Hit the 80 mark in a few more areas now. If you look down at the skills, a few skill moves, nice for the dribblers. But then we've got long range drive, long range shooting, one touch pass, through passing. So we can pass and shoot. He's got end product. We've got his passing past 80 for both low pass and lofted pass. Finishing's not brilliant, but like I say, it's down to the way you play the game. If you're going to be more interested in shooting than passing, you can just take a load off there, stick it on shooting. That works for you, good for you. For me personally, I prefer it like that. That's the way I'd build him. But like I say, for a guy of the height and build that he has, feels really good on the ball to me. He's got good pace. The balance is decent at 80. Physical contact's not bad as well for an attacking midfielder. And yeah, down the left, great on the ball. Got end product as well. So, and that attacking awareness. He just, for me, he gets into good positions. I've played him wide right as an inverted winger. I've played him through the middle as well, both AMF and SS. He just feels really good to me. So if you're looking at the players available in this pack, you've got some 5-star contracts, and he's one of the ones you're considering. Based on my personal experience, I'd say give this guy a go, because I think he's really, really good. I think it's a really good card, and like I say, my personal experience, he's been one of my favourite attacking players to use, both through the middle and wide right. I think he's great. And finally, the last one in the nominating contract pack, and don't forget we've got 2 match pass players to look at straight after this guy. But Kolo Muani, 5-star centre forward, he's good. I think honestly, this guy, the only thing that's not great about him is his playing style of deep lying forward. But that's subjective. You might like that playing style. If you like that playing style, I would say get this guy without hesitation, because he's just a really good all-rounder. For me personally, I've got a 4-star version of Kolo Muani, and it's a deep lying forward as well, and I really like it actually. Even though I don't like the playing style, I've used it mainly when we've had the national team challenge. I usually use a Japan squad. There's been a few times I've just been a bit bored of that, and I've used the France squad. And no, I don't use Mbappe, before you ask, like everyone does. What I do is I play Kolo Muani with Thuram up front, and they're a great partnership. Thuram is the poacher, Kolo Muani is the deep lying forward. It just works really well. And the 4-star version of this guy I really like, so this is an even better one. So I think, to be honest, even though I don't like that playing style, I'm probably going to pick this guy up. The frustration with the playing style is that a deep lying forward will, as you can probably figure out and you've probably experienced yourself, he'll sit a little bit deep. They won't be as aggressive with their attacking ones. They won't be getting in behind the defences often, and that can be frustrating, especially if you play a lone striker. Not as much of an issue when you're playing with a strike partner. As I say, I've used him with Thuram, and it worked really well, because Thuram went running in behind and this guy dropped deep. It just worked. But yeah, it's up to you whether that play style works for you. But in terms of his attributes, very good pace, got good jumping at 80. He's 6'1", so he will win headers. I found that he does win headers for me from crosses. Physical contact, the balance okay, but not brilliant. Stamina 80 is decent for a striker. And down the left, you see offensive awareness at 89. You know I'm about to try and get up to the 90 mark. Pretty good on the ball for a striker. Low pass of 73 might not be brilliant, but he's a striker. I think for a striker that's okay, and we'll come to that in a second when we look at his skills. Finishing 86, not brilliant, but pretty good. Heading 71 again, it could be better, but I have found he's pretty decent in the air for me. He does well enough with his headers, but as I say, we'll look at his skills now. First thing I'll look at, he's got one touch pass and through passing. So his 73 passing, one touch pass, through passing. He doesn't have brilliant passing, but for a centre forward, it's pretty strong. And he's the deep lying forward, so it's important. For a deep lying forward, someone who's going to be dropping deep and getting involved in the build-up behind the attack. That's important that he can pass the ball. And you look at his other skills, he's got heading, got acrobatic finishing, so again, decent from crosses. A couple of skill moves there for the skill merchants. First time shot, most important skill for a striker to have. And then, like I say, he's got the passing and then gamesmanship to win you free kicks. Track back. I'm not a big fan of having track back on forwards, but if you like this playing style, deep lying forward, that does go well with the playing style, just like the passing does, because he's going to be dropping deep anyway. And if he's going to be dropping deep and your opponent wins the ball back with the defenders, this guy's going to track back and help you to maybe stop the other guy countering. So, like I say, on the whole, oh wait, I was going to try and nudge that, wasn't I? I want to get that to 90. Let me see what I can do. Let's take one away from shooting. One from dribbling. Actually, we'll take one from speed. Boom, there we go. 90 offensive awareness. Not going to make a huge difference, but it's nice to hit that 90 mark, isn't it? So yeah. On the whole, like I say, deep lying forward is not for everyone, but if you're okay with the playing style, this guy is really good. No major weaknesses. I've got personal experience using a 4-star version. I really like him, so I think this is a very good striker, a very good card to pick up. So yeah, recommended. But now we'll get on to the 2 match pass players. So this is the regular match pass, I believe, Mudryk. And he's got he's got 2 positions he can play, but he's basically a left winger, whether you're playing left midfield or wide left forward, whatever you want to call it. He's a wide left player, and the strengths are pretty obvious. Crazy pace, fantastic on the ball. He's got good offensive awareness as well. Good balance at 85. But, as I mentioned earlier with Gordon, the issue with a lot of the wide players, the wide forwards that we get in the game, they can be lacking in end product. So that, for me, makes me want to train him a bit. I'm thinking, okay, I'll take some off his dribbling. Again, this is just what I'd personally do. I don't want that tight possession going below 80, so I'll leave that there. Put 10 on dribbling. Take that on passing straight away. Can we take a bit of his pace away? Yeah, take 2 off there, so then the offensive awareness doesn't go below 80. And then lower body. Oof, we probably take 4 off there, get away with that. They put 1 on defending. I'll take that back as well. Thank you very much. 1 on there. More on shooting. Now we're in business. There we go. Look at this. Lovely jubbly. Now we've got 1 point left. Take it on area or whatever. Personally, that's what I'd do. Still got fantastic pace. Still brilliant on the ball. Still got good offensive awareness and decent balance. But now you're at least past the 70 mark for his passing and his finishing. Have a little look down here at his skills. As you'd expect with Mudryk, he's got some skill moves for the dribblers. He's got long range drive. Important for a right-footed player who plays wide on the left. Chip shot control. Chip shots aren't brilliant in the game, but still, whatever. Dipping shot, quite nice. Again, not everyone's interested in dipping shots, but 1-touch pass helps in the build-up. He has super sub. So, if you look at his stamina, 75 for stamina, he is going to get tired if you start him. So, as a super sub with that super sub skill, maybe this is a player who might be most effective if you keep him on the bench and then bring him on second half, wide left, with that pace, the dribbling, the offensive awareness, that little bit of end product, with the long-range curler especially. He could be someone who's best brought off the bench second half to really try and punish your opponent, especially if his fullback's getting tired. So, yeah, this is a guy who, he's not going to be for everyone. For me personally, the lack of end product does put me off, but he has got fantastic pace and ability on the ball. So, I think a lot of people would be pretty excited to pick this guy up. He does look like he's got some real qualities, and if he suits you, and roaming flank playing style as well, I didn't mention that. Roaming flank, I like that playing style for a wide midfielder, especially if you're playing inverted wingers. He'll be drifting inside, picking up a lot of good positions in and around the box. So, yeah, if he suits you, and if you can, if you're okay with your wide players not having a particularly high attributes here, as I mentioned earlier with one of the other players, I've got friends who, like with fullbacks, I know people with fullbacks who don't bother putting much on technicals. I've got friends who don't bother putting much on their passing and finishing on wide forwards, and they get by just fine. So, if you're one of those people, if it doesn't bother you too much, bearing in mind the strengths you've got, this guy could be fantastic for you. Could be a very interesting card to pick up. And then finally, potentially the most interesting card out of all these ones that we're looking at. So, depending on what platforms you're active on when it comes to eFootball, you might have heard this guy mentioned, especially on places like Reddit. People mention him quite a lot as like a hidden gem. And there's a reason for that. I'll come to it. He's normally a 3-star card. I'll start by training the way he's supposed to be trained on the auto allocation. So, as you see him here, he's a right back, defensive fullback. There aren't many good defensive fullbacks in the game, so this could be a pretty valuable card to pick up for that reason. In fact, I've actually got him trained as a centre back. Hang on, I've just spoiled it all. So, as a right back, this is how he's trained. So, as a defensive fullback, like I say, there aren't many particularly good defensive fullbacks in the game. So, for that reason, it could be valuable to pick up. I personally don't like these technicals being so low. As I just mentioned with Mudryk, there are people, I know people myself, who just don't care about having high technicals on their fullbacks. Personally, I do. It scares the hell out of me to see a fullback who can't control the ball or pass the ball. I would look at maybe taking a bit of the dexterity away there. Stick that on dribbling. Get that up to there at least. I don't think I would want to take too much else away. Maybe a couple from defending. You can afford to do that and still be 80 plus in all the defending attributes. I'll put that on dribbling as well and get 1 on his passing. That's probably what I'd do personally. Not a great difference though, but as you can see, he's got very good pace. Physical contact 80 is good for a fullback. Stamina 88 is good. All the defensives, as I mentioned, are 80 plus. You might want to put a bit more on his technicals down the left. It's up to you, but there aren't many defensive fullbacks. I've said it several times now that are really good and can do a job for you at kind of 5-star level. So The way he's designed and supposed to be used as a right back, defensive fullback, he's good. The attributes are good. With the skill set, he's got heading and aerial superiority, which are a nice bonus for a fullback, and he's a pretty strong guy, 185 as 6'1", and man marking, interception, and blocker. There are not many fullbacks with all three of those skills. So, as I say, quite a rare one, I think, for the way he's supposed to be used as a defensive fullback. And if that's what you want to use him as, this could be a really, really good card to pick up. But as I mentioned initially, and as you saw with the way he was trained initially, I'll go back to that now. The reason why he gets referred to as a hidden gem by a lot of people, and that's based on his normal 3-star card, is that you can train the 3-star card as a centre back, and he becomes a 5-star centre back. But if you train this card as a centre back, he becomes a really good 5-star centre back. So defensive there, you see all around the 90 mark, then down the right for a centre back, really good pace, and then the physicals and the jumping, pretty decent at 84. Stamina good for a centre-back. Balance of 70 is quite unusual for a centre-back. And again, looking down here at the skill set, he's obviously got heading and aerial superiority, which suddenly become a lot more important when he's playing at centre-back. And then man marking, interception, and blocker, probably the three most important skills for a centre-back to have. You could argue it'd be nice if he had acrobatic clearance, maybe even slide tackle. I don't think those two are as important. You could maybe put them on him if you pick him up. But these 5 that he's got really, really important skills for a centre-back. And when you look at his attributes, like I say, I would like to get those 89s to 90. You know I like to do that, so I'll do that right now, actually. I'll take a couple away from his pace. I'll leave him at the 80 mark for speed and acceleration. But that is enough to get him 90 plus in all these defensives. Like I say, physically and aerially, pretty strong. He's a decent enough height for a centre-back, and he has aerial superiority. Still has 80 speed, 80 acceleration. There aren't many good centre-backs 90 plus for all their defensives, and 80 plus for speed and acceleration. It's quite rare. So, as I say, a bit of a hidden gem. If you weren't aware with this guy, he is a good right back, but can be trained as a centre back to be quite brilliant as a centre back. Whichever way you use him, rare to have someone as good as him as a defensive right back, but also a very, very good centre back as well. So, if you're looking at the 2 match passes and you think about picking one up, as I mentioned with Mudryk, he could be great for some people if he suits them, but this guy I think is a really, really valuable card to pick up as well. Whichever way you use him, right back or centre back, I'm definitely going to pick this guy up myself. So, yeah, there you go. For me personally, I think there's some very interesting ones in there. I would like them to be put to give us a few more options, I think, to be honest. Just having 8 players in the pack, it's not that many. It's worth mentioning there's an 8-star in the Mexican League pack. Sorry, a 5-star, not an 8-star. That would be a very good player. There's a 5-star in the Mexican League pack, Valdez. He's a whole player, attacking midfielder. I will be doing a review of the Mexican League and J League packs, either over the weekend or maybe next week. See if I can pick out some 3-star and 4-star gems for you. But yeah, not many 5-stars, but there are some decent ones. I think, like I say, Kulusevski and Kolo Muani, probably my pick from the nominating contracts. And I think the two match pass players we've got, Mudryk and Diakite, 2 very good players actually. So there's some good ones that we've looked at here. I think it's a decent selection. So yeah, hopefully that's helped you to choose where to use some of your 5-star nominating contracts and whether to pick up one of the match passes. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next time.